Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car modeling tutorial. And today in this episode we're going to continue on with our Ford GT here. Starting to make quite good progress. It's starting to take the rough shape in here for our base mesh, but what I'm going to do in this episode is I think we'll do a little bit of cleaning up of some of the mesh, and then we'll maybe start to think about the side skirt and seeing what we're going to do down there. Now the reference images I've been looking at here is the new kind of carbon edition, which looks really cool. So it looks like it's got a little bit more detail down here that we could maybe add and so on. I've done a little bit of a cleanup. You can see a little bit of a difference here in terms of the mesh. So I've just like gone through and made it so just some of the edges flow a little bit nicer, especially along this area here. So I've just got those in. We can see in the video here that they're all looking super nice for me. So I don't know if you guys want to maybe take a little bit of time to do that as well in between the videos. But let's have a go at tidying up here now. I don't really like what we've got going on here, and the reason for that is this section. Because we've got so many kind of edges pinching into this, when we smooth this off, it's probably not going to look too good. So we can kind of see, at least on the wireframe there, that we've got all of these bits going into one, so it's not going to look great. So I think the best option would be to kind of run a bit that's going to run all the way down here. So let's maybe start by with our multi-cut, and I'm going to drop something here right in the center of this. So I'm going to drop that right where it's about 50% and just hit enter. So I've just got that one vertex inside there for us, and let's maybe think about how we're going to run this all the way up. So let's maybe go about halfway. So I'm going to draw this all the way in up here, and we'll maybe meet just there, maybe meet just there as well, and then we'll go up here. So what we're going to want is we're going to want all of these faces running along here quite nicely. And again, I'll probably take some time in between episodes just to smooth this all out, but let's go in, and we don't need this edge anymore, or this edge, or this edge. I'm just holding control whilst I hit delete there. So we can see now that there's going to be no pinching with any points as we run along there. Now we can see that that is going to be super nice and smooth all the way through that when we eventually get to the smoothing. Now we've got a couple triangles here now. That's not too much of a problem, but I am going to readjust this one to go down maybe something like that, just there. Let me turn on my edge slide and move that one over just a little bit, and there. And then what I'll do now is I'm going to grab these ones, I'm going to hit control and delete inside there. And it's really going to be a case in here now of just doing what I kind of did in between episodes. Is I'm going to want to have all of this run down here, but I'm going to want it to be about the same kind of distance. Let's maybe put a bit more of a gap inside there. So something like that. Okay. So run that all the way through there, so that's looking okay. I'm going to maybe remove my transform there, and I just want to make sure that was still nice and flat on here too. I can select the right one, so we'll take that one. Okay, and I think the rest there is looking okay. And then the idea there is that that geometry is just going to flow a lot nicer down there for us. It doesn't necessarily need to be defined geometry, because I don't think there is any kind of panel gaps that run along there for us, but it just means it's going to move much nicer in terms of offsetting this curve here for us. Let's maybe just push that one out this way a little bit. Okay, so the rest of there, I think I'm happy with the rest of what's going on just there for now, so that's not too bad. I'm going to go mesh tools, I'm going to insert an edge loop, and I'm going to drop this in the middle here, and then we can simply link these ones together. Something like that. So that, in terms of this area here, is going to be much cleaner for us when we start to think about smoothing that out, so that's good. Another thing I was thinking about is we could maybe add another edge running across here. So where we have our lights, this portion here is coming out quite far. And because this is sticking out so far here, it means that we're losing a little bit of curvature there. So what we could do is let's maybe go insert an edge loop across here. And I'm just going to pull that up a little bit, just to help with that curve as we go along there. And then what that means for us is that in our top view, we're going to be able to take this, and we're going to be able to pull that much further out in there. And that just means that's going to help us run that curve around there too. So that's looking quite nice. Okay, so I'm quite happy with what we have here. We could run a couple more in there, but we'll maybe save that for when we're really thinking about the details. Now, one thing I was thinking about, we're going to make a little change down here. I'm not going to do that in this episode though. I'm going to talk about why we're going to make this change over here when it comes to the side skirt. What we're going to do is we're actually going to cheat a little bit. So rather than have our side skirt with this bit coming through and merging down from it, what I was thinking is we'll actually take the side skirt off of this and then have it just push straight through the front splitter here, and then the front splitter can just run straight up and through and then connect around the back there. So that's something that we'll probably do, and we'll maybe do at the end of this episode if we have time. But I do want to think about the side skirt here. So let's go, firstly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take maybe all of these faces here. I'm going to hit Control E, and I'm going to pull this out, something like that. And then I'm going to target weld these ones back. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this one and this one. And then I don't want any of these extra faces on the top and bottom here, so I'll get rid of those two. Okay, so I've deleted those now so that we have this little gap here. I'm going to target weld back across there to get rid of that. But we're not going to target weld up here. What we're going to want for this is we're going to want to take these vertices here, and I think we're going to want to go and pass just underneath this, something like that. Let's take that one too. So we're going to want to pass just underneath, and looks like we're going to want to take that back in a little bit as well. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this edge, I'm going to hit Control E, I'm just going to pull this down on the blue there, because I'm going to go around behind, and I'm going to target weld that one back up there, and then this one I'm going to target weld here, so that we've got those two attached to each other, but then that secondary bit running off underneath there. Okay. Now it's going to look weird when we hit smooth on that, but we'll rectify that a little bit later. But that's what we're wanting to think about there, is we're wanting that to look a bit more kind of disjointed to the rest of the car as it runs and then flows underneath. So because we extruded that out, I'm going to jump into my top view. Can't really see it too much, but what we want to make sure is before we go any further is I'm just going to make sure that everything is sitting how it should up here. You can see that this bit here we want to be tucked in a lot more, like so. Okay, and I'm just going to pull all of these across because we want to make sure we're all the way out here. I didn't realise we were so far off, but we can bring these out like that. And then that will allow us to go jump in with these, and then we'll bring these across too. We are going to be merging panels and things soon, but not just yet. Let's maybe add these verts back in as well, just so for now we can snap. I'm going to hold down V and just snap back to those. Okay, mine is tripping a little bit for me here, but we'll see. Okay, I'm just going to pause here, guys, and just reopen Maya real quick. Okay, we're back, we're good. So I've just reloaded just because it was behaving a little bit weird, but let's continue. So we're going to have a go at maybe the side skirt in here, but before we do, I think what we'll want to do at the front here is I'm going to take all of these faces. Maybe just do that. I'm going to hit Control E, and then on the world I'm going to pull them up ever so slightly. Something like that. Okay. Let me get rid of these extras around here, and then I want to do the same on the other side. Just like that. And then I'm going to grab my target weld, and let's go and bring that one down here and here. And I'm just trying to look to see, maybe bring that one down as well. Actually no, let's leave that one up. I'll merge these ones down here. Because it does look like we've got a little bit of a raise there, which will be quite cool. Right, so let's think about this side skirt then. So the original plan, if it was to do anything like the front here, the original plan is that these portions where we actually meet the side skirt, they would have been part of the side skirt. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make it so that these are not part of the side skirt, and what they are is that they're part of the actual body panel. Well, not part of the body panel, maybe just a separate bit on its own. And then they'll just kind of go down and intersect with the actual side skirt. So that's what I'm thinking we'll do with that. Let me just see here. I'm wondering if it's, at this point, if it's beneficial for these to be joined, which probably is. So let's maybe go here real quick. I'm going to insert some edge loops. So I'm going to drop one just maybe here and here. And we only really want to do that once we're completely happy inside here. Before we actually do that, I'm just having a look, and there is a little bit of extra that we probably want to add into this. And it looks like maybe what we'll do is let's insert an edge loop. Maybe about there. Because what it looks like is under here, it actually starts to go under here. Like that. So it kind of starts to tuck underneath. So we can see if I remove that, we can see how that's like tucking underneath there. Okay. So it looks like it's tucking underneath. And then what we'll probably want to do is we'll probably want to match that line, and I think we'll match that going up over the top. So let's jump in on here, grab our multi-cut. I'm going to drop around the same point there. I'm going to draw in nice and close. Up here. I'm going to jump across there and then up here. I'm going to go and select my vertices. I'm going to grab both of these and we'll say edit mesh and merge those together. I'll just make sure they're not pinching or looking weird, so they're looking okay. Let me pull it away just a little bit there. And what this is going to do really is this is also going to help us kind of define this edge, which is quite nice. So let's go up here and we'll do the same. We'll drop in up here. And then we could maybe just take this all the way around. again, that's just only going to help us in future, because it means it's going to make sure that our edges here are going to be really nice and sharp. Okay, so I've got that edge running all the way around there. Let's just make sure we're sitting in the same spot. So I'm just going to hold down V and we'll snap just there. We'll just do the same on here as well. Hold down V and snap. Let's go then and insert these edge loops. I'm going to go just underneath because I think I want that to flow down a little bit, and then I'm going to go just underneath again here because again I think we'll want this one to flow down. So let's go hold V and snap and do the same just there. And let me just got my edge slide here and we'll pull that down. Something like that. Okay, so that's looking nice as it comes and it flows down here. So let's grab both of these. I'm going to hit mesh and combine. And I'm going to grab all these vertices and just quickly duplicate them. I'm just going to hit G. I'm going to do them all independently and just to whiz through them real quick. And then what we can do is we can hit 3 on the keyboard, and what that'll do, that'll show us there that that's all merged there nicely together. So that's good. So that should help us out when it comes to creating our next portion. Now, before we do anything, I'm looking here and I'm feeling like all of this wants to go in a bit more. Let me just get rid of that edge there. I'm feeling like everything down here we want to come in a lot more, and then we can smooth that out up here, but I'm feeling like it needs to be something like that based on what I'm looking at in the references here. And then at the back here, I'm thinking we'll come through something like that, because we're wanting to maybe maintain that kind of same line that's running above there. Okay. And then these, I think we'll want to go in something like that. Okay, so I think that's looking quite nice. And then what we'll do is we'll have our little side skirt down here too. So let's maybe take all of these edges. So I'm going to grab all of these, including that one. I'm going to hit Control E, and on the world, let's take that in. It looks like we maybe want to do something like that. Okay, so I think that's looking okay. I think we want, let's see, so we can see the side skirt comes out quite far up here. We maybe want to run another line through there as well to help us bring this bit out, but I don't think that's going to be an issue just now. Let's maybe do that, see how that flows. So if we drop in another edge just there, though I don't think we want it to go there, so I'm going to hold Control and delete. I think we'll want that to run down here. Let's go use our transform constraint. So I think what I want to do with my transform constraint with the edge is I'm wanting this to be much more reflective of this edge that's running around here rather than the extra one that we've added in there. So let's go see what we can do here. Through here, we'll maybe bring this back, something like that. I think the only real problem is this bit. Let's maybe go a little bit more there. Okay, so I've just aimed really just to smooth this curve all the way around. Okay. And then what that means that with this, what can do is we can use this line here to add a bit more to the side of the car here. It looks like maybe with this whole bit we just want to be in general a bit further out. Let's just try and smooth that off as it gets a bit higher. Like that. And it's always good to do these bits first, because we want to do this now, because we don't want to add more geometry down and underneath here and have to come back to it. So let's go under here and select all of these edges there. Now before we do this, I feel like this underside here, just going to go my edge slide back, I feel like this is a lot more curved than the top. I feel that's a little bit more like that. So I'm going to grab those, I'm going to hit Control E. I'm just going to pull this down, and we should be able to target weld over here. Just there. We are going to extrude in on that anyway, but we'll pull that in just there. And what we'll do with this is we're going to pull it down so it's just above where that line is. So like that. So we're just above where the actual line of that side skirt is, and let's take these edges. I'm going to hit Control E. I'm going to pull this out. Now what we need to understand here is that this isn't actually connected to that, but we are going to connect it just now. Let's maybe just pull it. Let's maybe just pull it the whole way first. So we'll go all the way out to this side. So I'm going to use multiple views here. Just disconnect my other computer because the fans are going. Okay, so we're going to come all the way along there, like that. At this point here, let's maybe just for now, I'm going to grab this, and maybe this one, and we'll hit delete, because there is like a vent that's going to go in and through there, and let's maybe take that back here. Could even take that one up there. Let's take this one and pull it along here, and we're going to take this all the way back to like the start of that wheel arch there. So we're going to go all the way back here, something like that. I just want to make sure we're not kind of bobbling or anything along here. Then we're going to do the exact same on the front. I'm going to grab this, we're going to hit extrude, and we'll take this along here. Again, to about the same spot. I just want to make sure we're not bobbling again at the front here too. And then we'll grab all of these. Let's maybe just grab all the edges real quick. I'll take all of this. going to pull this down, and we can fine tune this with our vertices. This is giving us a nice little extra dimension to this, because obviously it's coming away from the body, but then it's also moving down a little bit, which is quite nice. Take that. I'm going to grab those edges again. I'm going to hit Control E and then take that down again. Using the side view here, we'll be able to get a good gauge of that. Okay, so maybe we're going to go about maybe halfway there. So let's take these ones up a little bit, like that. Go for edge again. Select all, not that one, all these lower edges here, and I'm going to hit Control E. If I can find my world option, I'm going to take that down again. Just that bottom bit. And I think what we want to do with this is maybe just take that underneath. Just a little bit. Okay, so we've got that side skirt in there. It's looking quite nice. And then what will happen with these is we can see that there's a little bit of a difference between them, but essentially what will happen is that these will be pulled down and just kind of cut through that. And because it'll be the same material, it'll just merge into them quite nicely. Okay, so I think that's looking quite good. In there. Yeah, I think we're happy with that. Let's maybe think about what's going on through here then. I've got my reference images opened up. Let's maybe take, I'm going to maybe take all of this, just these ones here. Let's hit Control E. And let's take this in. Because what this does is this kind of goes in. And we can start to see how that goes and moves up here. So let's maybe take it all the way to like this starts of this re-event at the back there. So that's going to run all the way up and through. I'm going to maybe take this first vertices here. We'll maybe bring that over there. Like that. I don't know if we'll see much. Let's have a look in the back view. Okay, so we can kind of see what's going on. We can see that we've got the vent. So maybe what we could do is we could take all of this maybe over to intersect that vent. It's a little bit hard to see because I think this is the spoiler that's running across the top. Let's do that. We can see that bringing those in there has made that quite nice. It's kind of flowed up there nicely. I think it probably wants to go a little bit more. Okay, so that looks quite good. Down here, I think we're going to maybe want to start to think about this intake on the side. So let's go and insert an edge loop and drop one on here. And I'm going to go to kind of match over there. So we'll just drop that loop on there. Let's maybe just take this for now and take it into that corner. Okay. So let's maybe drop an edge loop in this side bit, maybe something like that. And I'm just going to scale that out and then move it across because it looks like we went a bit too thin, a bit too quick over there. So we'll do that. Let's see. So this whole bit, let's maybe take this edge. We'll hit Control E on this, and I'm going to pull them back in this direction. Pull those back on the Z axis, and I'm bringing them in on the X a little bit, so we're starting to kind of flow back in behind here with that. Let's maybe have a go scaling that off a little bit. It doesn't really matter how far we go here because it's going to have a vent inside here anyway, but let's go and we'll maybe bridge what we have here. So let's go to edit mesh and bridge those together. I'll be able to drop an edge loop there. I'm going to edit mesh and merge those 2 points. Let's just take that over there a little bit there. So we're just kind of getting to the start of that intake on the side. Okay, and I think obviously what we want to do with this as well is let's pull that up. Like so. And then I think we'll want to bring these up too. Do something like that to offset it a little bit. Okay, cool. Alright then guys, so I think we're looking good for this episode. We straightened the front out a little bit there. We may readjust some geometry a little bit more again when it comes to adding the details. We're looking quite nice down here. The only sticky point is going to be this section down here, but I think we'll be okay when we get to it, because what we'll end up doing is we'll grab, I'm pretty certain that if we take these and this, and if we were, for example, to extrude that in, that should do a great job there of helping fix that, which it does. So we'll be able to fix that when we get to it, which should be good. So we'll stop there for this episode. I think then in the next episode, maybe what we could do is we could start to work around the back, because we're going to want this to come through. So we can maybe continue working around the back a little bit. We do need to take this up along the side as well. But we'll probably go around the back and do a little bit of work around there. So please guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you in the next one.